Good morning. Call this committee of the whole meeting to order. I'd ask any member of the committee to declare pecuniary interest rate may arise now or in the meeting. Seeing none. Item number 3, Infrastructure and Development Services Division. We have 2 correspondence to receive and file. I'll look for a motion. Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Boucher. All in favor? That's carried. Item 3B, information reports. We have 4 reports to receive and file unless there's an individual one. Councillor Boucher moves to receive and file. Councillor Cook seconds. Councillor Broad.
Thanks, Warden Merritt. I just want to thank Jason and staff for his report there on that York One Environmental Waste Solutions. He's provided a wealth of information for our municipality and for the other municipalities, and really want to thank him and staff for getting behind this. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Broad. Did I call the question? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And 3C, reports requiring a motion. The first one is a report dated April 17th regarding the appointment of emergency management program coordinators and alternates. Do we have a motion to support this? Councillor Sageman moves, seconded by Councillor Cook. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And second one is a report dated April 17th regarding County of Middlesex boundary agreement. Mover for that one. Councillor Ferguson, second by Councillor Bean. All in favor? That's opposed? That's carried. And C, report dated April 17th regarding parking bylaw enforcement and penalty provision amendment. Look for a motion to accept the recommendation. Councillor Case, seconded by Councillor Atkinson. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And D, report dated April 17th regarding County of Lambton Agricultural Advisory Subcommittee recommendations. Look for a mover on this. Councillor Bean, seconded by Councillor Miller. All in favor? That's carried. Councillor Broad.
Thank you, Warden Merritt, and my apologies that I have to step aside from that committee due to a work commitment. But we do have a replacement that I thought would be a good candidate to fill in. He's been heavily involved in the intense negotiations of the restructuring of the Ag Committee and has provided supreme leadership. And I would recommend and make a motion that Gary Atkinson take my place.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Case seconds that. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. I'm not going to ask if you accept that, Councillor Atkinson.
Thank you, Warden, and thank you, Councillor Broad and my fellow councillors for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for accepting that, Councillor Atkinson. And item number 4, Public Health Services Division, Emergency Medical Services Department. There's no business, but is there any other business anybody wants to bring up for this? Seeing none, moving on to number 5, Cultural Services Division. Correspondence receive and file. We have 3 items. Councillor Boucher moves, and seconded by Councillor Agar. All in favor? That's carried. (5B) Information reports. 2 reports there to receive and file. Councillor Miller and Councillor Bean. All in favor? That's carried. And reports requiring a motion. The report dated April 17th regarding Library Policy Manual. Moved by Councillor Cook. Second by Councillor Broad. All in favor? Oh, that's carried. Councillor Cook, you have a question?
Yes, just a question. I don't know if it was covered in the report. The cost of putting in the surveillance into the libraries.
Mr. Meyer, please.
Thank you for the question, Councillor, through you, Mr. Warden. The change to the policy is more just a housekeeping nature. We don't have video surveillance in all library locations, just a select few where it's deemed warranted. Cost varies depending on the coverage required. So far, we have it in place at the Sarnia Library and the new Clearwater Library. So to give you a cost per location is a bit difficult, but we can certainly keep council apprised as we update other locations as needed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Meyer, and that was carried. B, information report dated April 17th regarding Brights Grove Library expansion. A motion to accept this. Councillor Sageman, second by Councillor Miller. All in favor? That's carried. Reports requiring a motion. First.
So those two were done. That one was done. So this is the last.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We go to B, report dated April 17th regarding museums, gallery, and archives collection management, January and February. Motion to accept this. Councillor Agar, second by Councillor Atkinson. All in favor? That's carried. Is there any other business under cultural services? Seeing none, we move to number 6, long-term care division. Correspondence receive and file. We have one item there. Moved by Councillor Kay, second by Councillor Cook. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And B, information reports. 2 reports there to receive and file. Councillor Bean and Councillor McRoberts. All in favor? It's carried. Any other business? Item number 7, corporate services division. Correspondence receive and file. One item there. Councillor Bean moves, second by Councillor Atkinson. All in favor. Oh, Councillor Cook, you have a question.
Yes, are we moving to support this, to move it on? Because I think accessibility, I know I sit on the committee as the chair. It's very important that we do have funding to go forward with this. If this is requesting more funding, I think we should be supporting it. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor again, sorry? Any opposed? That's carried. Is there any other business under corporate services? Seeing none, move on to number 8, finance, facilities, and court services division. One information report there to receive and file. Councillor Miller, seconded by Councillor Hand. All in favor? That's carried. And B, reports requiring a motion. There are 2 there to receive and file. Councillor Broad moves, Councillor McRoberts seconds. All in favor? That's carried. Any other business under finance, facilities, and court services? Seeing none, moving on to number 9, social services division. Correspondence receive and file. One item. Councillor Ferguson moves, seconded by Councillor Hand. All in favor? It's carried. And B, reports requiring a motion. There's 2 reports. First one, report dated April 17th regarding 2024 tax policy. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I jumped a page there. We're actually at 9B, information reports. There's 3 reports to receive and file. Councillor Broad moves. Councillor Kay seconds. All in favor? That's carried. And item C, reports requiring a motion. Report dated April 17th regarding Kathleen Avenue. Moved by Councillor Cook. Second by Councillor Bradley. Would you like to speak to that, Councillor Bradley?
I'll second it, but I do have concerns where this is going.
Okay.
And, I'll express those concerns at this point. Am I taking it that the funding isn't there at this point? And is the location then possibly up for debate if we're going to move forward in a different direction as indicated in the report?
Ms. Colasani, please.
Through you, Warden Marriott, to Councillor Bradley. Regarding the funding, you might recall we brought a report to Council earlier this year requesting we move forward with Kathleen Avenue because it was the closest to being shovel-ready for a project. We put in a request to the provincial government for $5 million, and we were not successful on that. So at this time, yes, our recommendation is that we'd still like to move forward with the project, but the provincial dollars, since they're not there now, that would become municipal dollars on the levy. However, we would continue to apply for both federal and provincial dollars as the project moves forward.
Is it possible then to look at a different location? Because you've expressed this concern many times in the city and here. I'm concerned about the concentration of social housing. And Kathleen Street is probably the epicenter of all the social housing in the city. And I haven't been sold on it's good to concentrate social housing based on here, there, and everywhere that we've looked at. So is the possibility of a change in location? Because there's a rezoning involved too, is there not?
Ms. Colasani, please.
Through you, Warden, to Councillor Bradley. You may recall the Flourish report had 5 potential builds in it, and we chose this build first because, again, it's shovel-ready. The other projects are a fair distance from being ready for that. Most of them do involve zoning changes as well. And I can't speak to the zoning of Kathleen right now. I think we're waiting to hear back from the city actually on that piece. But our recommendation is to move forward with this project because it is the closest to shovel-ready, and there is funding available now. We heard that there was new funding announced yesterday in the federal budget, but if we don't have a shovel-ready project, we won't be able to receive any of those dollars.
Already compared to other locations, are we talking from 0 to 10? Are we talking this project's at 9 or 10 versus others that are 4 or 5? Because again, we're concentrating, if you go back in time to the 60s, if you look at where all the social housing was concentrated, I don't fault the people that made those decisions, but looking back, it was probably not the wisest decision to concentrate social housing without the support for those particular units. And that's the concern on this project. So what does shovel-ready mean?
Ms. Colasani, please.
Through you, Warden, to Councillor Bradley. I mean, shovel-ready has different definitions, but in this case, the property is already owned. It's ready. We need to look at the zoning. We've already gone out to RFP to start to look at what an architect would look at to determine if it should be 50 units or how many units can fit on that property. The other properties that are noted in the report, some of them aren't owned yet by the county, so there's some work to be done there. We need to look at zoning. We need to look at probably some significant environmental studies. So there's quite a bit of work to do on any of the other projects at this time. So no, I can't tell you exactly 1 to 10.
Okay. Deputy Warden White, you had your hand up.
Thank you, Warden. I agree with my colleagues' comments on concentrating social housing. However, I do believe that there was one significant advantage to this particular build, and Ms. Colasani, if you could just address it, because I want to be sure that I'm clear on it, is one of the concepts behind this particular location was to help maintain the family network and the social fabric of extended families being close by to other family members to help raise grandchildren and to maintain that support close by in a situation where folks might not have access to transportation as easily as others. Is that correct?
Ms. Colasani, please.
Through you, Warden Marriott, to Councillor White. That is correct. We find on Kathleen, families have grown up there, and when the children leave, under the housing rules, the individual has to move out of that unit because they're considered overhoused, and we have families that need to move in, but they'd like to stay within the area. So by developing some single units, that will allow for people to stay in the neighborhood that they've grown up in or near, and it will allow, as you said, those family connections if their families are still living in the neighborhood. And in many cases, they are still living, certainly within the city of Sarnia.
Call the vote on the motion. All in favor? That's carried. Is there any other business under social Social Services, Councillor Case, please.
Actually, it's not social services, Warden, it's more of an open session, so I can wait, unless this is the time to do it.
I believe it is, yeah.
I think this is the last one that we have.
Yeah, it is.
So, Mr. Warden, today I'm before council wearing the colors of the Alvinston Killer Bees hockey team, proudly wearing the colors. The Alvinston Killer Bees are competing in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League Championship, and they're up 2-1. And the great thing that's happening in Alvinston and the East Lambton community is the way the community is getting behind this hockey team. It's been absolutely incredible. We've seen fans from as far away as Sarnia Sting fans that have now come out to watch the Killer Bees hockey team, and I would just like to wish them the best of luck. They're up 2-1 in this series, and we hope that they're going to bring back the Washoe Cup to Lambton County over the next few days. So I'd just like to congratulate the team, the entire organization. It is Volunteer Week. There's an incredible amount of volunteers that are working on behalf of this team, not to mention the Optimist Club, the local organization, which has really got behind the team. And the great thing is all those dollars that are being raised come back into the local community. So I'd just like to wish them the best of luck and congratulate them on a great season. Thank you, Mr. Warden.
Great. Thank you for that, Councillor Case. We'll be watching. Councillor Bradley.
Yeah, I was also going to I wasn't going to raise that issue, but would you extend that to the Toronto Maple Leafs too? You're better off with your team. On a serious matter, and I did talk to the CEO last week and the CEO of the city of this, and what I want to propose is that we have a town hall, virtual town hall meeting from the county level, similar to what we did during the whole COVID time, where we had virtual town halls with everyone on who was responsible for the issue, and taking calls from the media or questions, and also from the public. And I think it's time, and I think, Warden, you know this, and anyone in this chamber, trying to get across the nature of the issue. What is being done? I deal with it every day because people are asking, well, what's happening with this encampment? Well, you know, what's going on here with the shelters? And I think we need to be there for the public to answer those questions and help sort of maybe lower the temperature to some degree, because there's also I guess one of the bigger frustrations is this is not a Sarnia-Lambton issue. It's not even just a Canadian issue. It is a North American issue. And I think if we could go back into that mode about every month or two to have those virtual meetings, they were the best way we could come up with to communicate with the public. And that involved Cogeco. It involved, I think, Andrew, the radio station covered them, the media were there. And I'm suggesting the next month or so we do one to explain exactly what the county is doing, what the city is doing, what else is happening as it relates to policing issues. All those issues, I think we need to be out there, at least for the public, to ask those questions, and the media, in a concentrated format for an hour and a half or so. So I'd like to propose, and Andrew, I have to ask you, was this last time the health unit took the lead, or was the emergency people took the lead?
Mr. Taylor, please.
Yes, through you, Warden Marriott, to Councillor Bradley. Yeah, I recall that the last time that this was done, Lambton Public Health was involved in organizing it with the media, and I would be, I couldn't tell you all the participants, but our communications team did lead in sort of that forum, so we could definitely make that information available should council support this direction.
Well, that I asked the county council to authorize a town hall meeting to be held within the next 4 weeks, virtual, that would be moderated and allow whoever, and I actually think all the mayors should be available if they wish to be, to answer in their communities, because I've heard from Mayor Loosely, I've heard from Mayor Case, you know, on a different scale, but they're also dealing with the same issues. So I just want to, I think we just need to engage more, because there's a vacuum right now on information, and that applies to the city, and it applies to the county, and it applies to all the other groups who are involved in this issue. It's just tougher to communicate to people right now.
Okay, so that's a motion. Do we have a second? Councillor McRoberts seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Any other business? Councillor Agar.
Thank you, Warden. Just to go a little different angle here, I just want to invite all the council to the United Way campaign kickoff barbecue that St. Clair is hosting on Wednesday, June 5th at noon at the Moortown Civic Center office parking lot. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask one more time. Any other business? Seeing none, I'd look for a motion to go in camera for the 4 items that we have on there. Councillor Atkinson moves, Councillor Bradley seconds. All in favor? That's carried. that as well. Councillor Boucher and Councillor Agar, all in favor. That's carried. Thank you.